Stop trying to be a mini man. Yeah, I said it. Let's talk about cyclical living and feminism. You know, I used to feel so uncomfortable telling my highly successful, world-renowned male PhD supervisor that I couldn't perform as well during the luteal phase because of my PMDD. Honestly, felt awful. It felt like I was admitting I was flawed or inferior somehow. Like I couldn't keep up with real male scientists. But then I realised the reason I feel this way about trying to fit into what everyone is supposed to be doing and not listening to my body is because I was seeing things through a male lens. There are certain things that I shouldn't be doing if I want to be taking good care of my hormones and my health. I used to think it was unfeminist to accept that I have different needs to a man's when it comes to my bodily cycles and functions, and that I do need more rest at certain times of the month. That's actually a deeply unfeminist mindset. Because academia and honestly most industries were built by and for men. The way we're told to work, the way capitalism flows, the way that success is measured, it's all built around male biology. Men have daily hormonal cycles, women have monthly ones. Testosterone peaks in the morning and dips at night in a male's daily cyclical hormone rhythm. But as women, we have monthly hormonal cycles with 4 phases. Depending on what phase we're in, our energy levels will shift and our strengths and weaknesses will change. Instead of working with that, what do? We try to keep up with a system that isn't built for us. And it gets worse. Women's bodies are so biologically complex that scientists just kind of skipped us. And what is even worse is that there is a huge gender health gap between men and women, because women's bodies are more biologically complex because of these hormone cycles. What has science and medicine done for the past hundreds of years? It's decided to pretty much skip the fact that women's bodies are different from men. Science has treated female bodies as mini men. Male scientists were like, nah, let's just not include women in trials, it's too complicated. And it does make sense from a scientific perspective in some ways, like I don't think it's malicious, but it's really harmful for women because they're taking the same scientific insights that they gain from just studying males, and they apply that to women without accounting for that we need different dosages because our bodies metabolize differently and our hormones are different at different times of the cycle. None of this stuff is accounted for when giving us drugs, and that means women are so much more likely to suffer from side effects and more likely to die from things like cardiac disease, because the symptoms in women are not understood as well as those in men, because women's are different, because our bodies are fundamentally different. It makes me mad. As a result, most drugs on the market were still only tested on men, because including women in the trials was just too complicated. In science, you do have to control for as many variables as possible, so it does make sense, but it's so damaging for women. Women metabolize things faster, so we need different dosages for drugs. We're more likely to experience side effects. We're more likely to die of cardiac disease and heart attacks, because the signs in women are different from those in men and they're not as well documented and studied. Another example is female autism. Most women with female autism aren't diagnosed until they're in their 20s because all of the symptoms that are tested for are male autism symptoms, and it really displays so differently in women. And don't get me started on the stereotype that women exaggerate pain. Our pain is so often dismissed, ignored, and misunderstood. There's so much misinformation about how women's bodies work that still permeates science to this day. It honestly makes me so mad. Women's bodies got left out just because our hormones complicate things. And it's not men's fault necessarily, because all the scientists and doctors were men, which is due to the patriarchy, which you could argue is men's fault, or, you know, whatever you want to attribute that to. Because most of the scientists and doctors and things have always been men, they don't understand female bodies. They haven't studied them enough. And that means that we're just being so left behind even to this day. This is why it is so important to have women in positions of power and as scientists and doctors and researchers, because otherwise we're only seeing things from a male perspective and women's bodies are bound to be left out. I get it that it's not fair to expect men to be able to understand women's bodies when they've never been taught about them, and that's fine. But that's why we need to make extra effort to understand women's bodies. This is why we need more women in science, in medicine, and in leadership. Because how can decisions be made about women's bodies without women even being present in the room? It's like a company trying to improve employee well-being without even asking employees what it is that they need. It's stupid and it's not going to work. That's exactly what's happened in medicine. And when we speak up about our side effects, like with contraceptive pills for instance, we're ignored, dismissed, even laughed at, because our experiences don't fit in with the standard narrative, the male narrative. To tell you a little story, I was in my office and my colleague and I were chatting about contraceptive pills, and she told me that she was on them from when she was 16 and they've just completely ruined her life because they just messed with her. She got so many side effects, she gained so much weight that she's never been able to get rid of, and it disrupted her completely, and she honestly said, the pill ruined my life. So given that I'm studying hormones, I was like, wow, okay, this is a really damning indictment to contraceptive pills. I mean, I've had my own bad experiences with contraceptive pills, but I thought that was to do with PMDD, which it was. But anyway, I'm always hearing about women with similar stories. So I started looking into the literature on how many women report side effects from contraceptive pills, and I found a lot of really strange research papers. It was honestly tough to find anything that actually looked decent. Papers like dismissing women's health symptoms, left, right and centre. So I asked my medical supervisor about this, who is actually a world-renowned medical researcher, and he said, don't even bother looking at the research on hormonal contraceptive pills for women, because, and I quote, it's all nonsense. How could my supervisor, who's a world-renowned researcher in medicine, be telling me that all of this literature on contraceptive pills is nonsense? It's because they're so full of bias against women reporting their side effects and symptoms. I was so shocked when my supervisor said this, because I just spent hours searching for legitimate studies on side effects of contraceptive pills just to find papers with sarcastic, dismissive titles mocking women's reports of side effects, like we were just whining for no reason. No wonder women's health treatments are so bad when this is the medical literature that it's based off of. We've all been taught that it's our job to suffer. We've been told we were hysterical. We've been told not to complain. And most women I know, we walk into the doctor's office already nervous and worried that they're going to dismiss our symptoms. We're worried they think we'll be exaggerating, so we downplay everything. I mean, I've been there a million times. I've gone to the doctor so many times, just so worried about whether they believe me or not. I've come out of appointments like crying my eyes out because once again, I've been told that my issues aren't really an issue. So my advice on going to doctor's appointment, educate yourself with the facts first. Go in prepared and be stubborn. It will feel uncomfortable, I know, but bring up the statistics on the dismissal of pain in women. Like, do some research before and find some statistics and quote them to them. Talk about the gender health gap. Stick up for yourself. And it's not even their fault, really. Like, doctors are educated in a system that is perpetuating these narratives and stereotypes about women's pain exaggeration and exaggeration of side effects. So it's not their fault, but the only way that we can change this is by addressing it. You don't have to do it in a way that is out of character for you either. You don't need to be aggressive or act like a mini man. You can stay soft and still speak with power. You can say, Doctor, I really feel like you're misunderstanding me. I'm in serious pain. I need a different treatment, or I need a referral to a specialist. You could even say, I'm concerned that gender bias is getting in the way of me receiving the care that I deserve. Be calm and respectful, but still firm and speak your mind. Isn't that way more effective than just yelling for stronger pain meds? And honestly, if your doctor uses this response to confirm their own bias and just continues to dismiss you, find a new one. File a complaint. Stand up for yourself even when it's uncomfortable. Not everyone's opinion of you should matter. It's not your job to make other people feel comfortable at your own expense. So speak up, advocate for yourself, do it in a calm and feminine way. Don't do it like a man would. Do it like the powerful, cyclical, wise woman that you are. Let's just all stop apologising for not being mini men. That is powerful. I know it's uncomfortable, but I think you would feel so good about yourself if you just speak your honest truth. I've been in similar situations. I was so nervous to go to my supervisor and admit to them that I've been really struggling in this luteal phase because of my PMDD. I was just so nervous because I was worried that he would just think less of me for doing so. But I pushed through the discomfort and did it anyway because I knew that it was the right thing to do. And I knew that me doing so was helping me to push my own mission of empowering women to do the same. And what reaction did I get from my supervisor? I actually got a lot of admiration and respect for him for doing that. And I was so proud of myself afterwards for pushing through that discomfort. And I came out of it feeling like he actually respects, values, and admires me more for being honest, speaking my truth, and advocating for myself. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Did you feel as if living in line with your cycle and admitting that you might need more sleep in your luteal phase somehow makes you feel a bit guilty and unfeminist? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts? Because I think this is a really interesting topic. I'm a scientist with PMDD and I'm constantly trying to advocate for myself and for other women and trying to push through these stereotypes even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. If you want more help navigating the healthcare system when you have PMDD, I have a PMDD Reclaim program and I'm currently running a beta round for it. So if you would like to join for free, please do so and give me your honest feedback so that I can help improve it for other women. Thank you for watching. Take care.